You can. He's gonna get the stage. Welcome everybody. Get everybody's attention. We're gonna start the public hearing, but before we start it, I've got a disclaimer I need to say. As mayor, it's my duty to enforce order. Officer call in Fessmeyer or the sergeant of arms, and will assist in maintaining order. Those wishing to speak about the rezoning request will be recognized for 3 minutes. You must limit your comments to the rezoning request. Each person will be permitted to speak once so that everyone may have the opportunity to be heard. In no event will the public hearing last longer than 1 hour. Unless you are recognized by me and granted permission to speak, you are not to address the board or otherwise make any verbal noises that will be heard by any member of this board during these proceedings. If you do so, you may declare to be out of order and proceed after being declared out of order. Your conduct will be deemed substantial interference with these proceedings. Thereupon, you will be removed from these chambers and may also face criminal charges pursuant to TCA 39-17-306. It's my sincere hope that everyone participating in the proceedings will conduct themselves in a polite manner with respect shown to all regardless of disagreement. We're going to start it. Anybody come to the podium to speak needs to address the name and the address. Anybody ready to speak on the public hearing, come to the podium. This on the public hearing on the rezoning.
Hello, my name is Deborah Hewen. I'm a realtor and I live at 431 Randall Lane since 2000. I have a ton of material. Officer, can you hand this out to the board? We have 562 signatures on a petition against the R3 zoning. I want to say I'm very upset because I have all of this research that's taken me nearly a month to do, to present to the board about our infrastructure, our fire department, our police, the home values in our subdivision and in Laverne. And I'm very upset that y'all have done this because all this work, all this research is not going to be able to be put out there. It will be put out to the news media, though. Can an officer please give this to the board? This is the petition with 562 signatures. We have some more that came in the last hour, but I wasn't able to calculate those. First off, on the developer and the area of town that one of the people are wanting to get this rezoned, they still owe $2,688 in written off water and sewer bills. That's money our water department could use and our citizens could use. Another thing is, it is the duty of this city to protect and preserve the land, promote public health, safety, morals, convenience, order, prosperity, and general welfare by enhancing the character and stability of residents, business, and commercial. I'm trying to cut this short. Preventing overcrowding of land, conserving the value of land and buildings, minimizing traffic hazards and congestion, preventing undue concentration of population, providing for adequate light, air, and privacy, reducing hazards of fire, flood, and other disasters and dangers, assisting in economic provisions. What I'm trying to say here in a nutshell is some of the information I got on police. We are very short of police. We have 1.54, and we're supposed to have 2 something, over 2. We're way short. Increasing the population in such a condensed area is going to make that worse. Also, wanted to let you know in our fire department, we have 11 fire personnel available to respond to a fire. That's not up to standards. That's below standards already. Increasing the population is going to make those standards even lower. City of Laverne has way more fire personnel than they do per population than what we do. And that's just not right. Anybody who knows a police officer or a fireman that puts their life on the line, that goes out to fight a fire or domestic dispute, which is a dangerous call, anything like that. When they have to go out there and there's not enough of them and one of them dies or is injured, it hurts and costs our city money, and it disrupts someone's family life for the rest of their lives. You can't take and give a life back. No matter how much money you give them, you can't give it back. Also, the schools, there's something terrible going on. We have the most area, the county did the lines for zoning, and they put all the most poor people and students with free and reduced school lunches in one area, and that's our area, and you're wanting to dump more in there. Please consider. Don't vote for this. It's wrong.
Thank you. Next, come up and speak in name and your address.
My name is Gertrude L. Phillips, and I live at 283 Stones River Road. And Mayor, you come into my house when y'all surge backed up. That's the reason I'm fighting this rezoning. You need to put in decent sewer so it don't keep a-happen. Y'all are going at it back assward. And I want you to know that your days are numbered, because what goes around will come around. You claim to be Christians? Act like it. Protect our citizens. No, Green, don't. LC would turn over in his grave if he knew how you were acting. You should be voting for the people, not against them. All of you. I want you to know I had to take the lawsuit, and y'all are still dragging your feet. I'm not going nowhere. I'm going to be here at every meeting I can be. I'm going to burst. And if they want to put a sign in my yard showing the people of Laverne how crooked y'all are doing and hurting our city, I will gladly let them put it up, because it'll be on private land and you can't do a thing about it.
Thank you. Next up to speak. Thank you. Name and your address.
Roger Werner, 1130 Benton Mason. Sounds like she's been here a while. She has different issues. I've been here less than 6 months. My issue is most of these people have equity in their house. I don't. I bought pretty high in there, hoping the American dream to have a house value go up. If you put condos in, / also apartments, my value is going down. And like I said last week, I'll put up a rental and I'll let my grass get a foot high. You know, it's just totally against this. Like I said, I can live anywhere. I chose here. I chose Tennessee, no state income taxes. All I see of this is my taxes going up and my property value going down. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up to speak. State your name and your address, please.
Good evening. My name is Hector Leon, Waters Edge Lane. I'll be brief. I'm sure my neighbors here will discuss tonight's vote from many perspectives. Arguments will be made as to why the rezoning proposal is not welcomed by the majority of citizens. But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to appeal to the accountability factor of these proceedings. So I'm going to take a minute to remind you that as elected officials, you have a great responsibility. Your responsibility is to the residents of Laverne. The residents of Laverne have chosen each one of you as their advocate, and as such, it is your duty to do what is in their best interest, and no one else. So everybody here will remember the way you vote tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. State your name and your address.
My name's Aaron Holliday. I live at 2034 Abingdon Drive here in Laverne. I am a elected school board member representing Zone 1 in Rutherford County, made up of 3 county commission districts. One of them happens to be Carol Cook's district here in Laverne. I appreciate the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for the opportunity to speak this evening, and wanted to share with you statistics from the schools Currently, all of our schools in the Laverne area, specifically the schools that are related to this property, are at maximum capacity. We will add trailer classrooms to Laverne Middle School this coming school year. We hate to do that as a school board, but the state requires the student-to-teacher ratio to be an exact science. Currently, Laverne Middle School has 1,064 students enrolled. They grew over 6% this past year. We did some analysis at the board of the proposed project and project over the next 3 years of a potential build-out. If this were rezoned, it would add over 160 students to the schools. We are looking at a expansion at Laverne Middle School and something similar to what we did at Roy Waldron Elementary, and we will continue to try and address the issue of capacity in our schools, but it is certainly challenged when decisions are made to increase density. At the same time, I want to highlight that we are answering the call for a challenging and an exceptional education. Laverne High School is awarding approaching 5,000 hours now of college credit through their dual enrollment academy. We have a commitment to having some of the highest possible expectations and performance from our schools here in the Laverne area as much as any school in Rutherford County. The high school in Laverne has over a 92% graduation rate. We can compare that to the state of Tennessee, which is around 87%, and the United States of America around 83%. So we're very proud of our students and the commitment that they have. We're very proud of everything that we're doing in the educational system, but we do need support of municipalities to make responsible decisions about these type of zoning issues. There is a place and a reason for additional density. For apartments, for townhomes, and for single-family dwellings. But personally, as a citizen of Laverne, I don't see a need or a reason for this particular zoning change immediately adjacent to schools where single-family homes are so appropriate.
Thank you. Next. State your name and address, please.
Stacy Linker, 112 Tulip Poplar Drive. And I'd like to start with Alderman Jones. I just want to thank you for last week's meeting recognizing Officer Mumau from the Metro Police Department. I appreciate that. He was a personal friend, so thank you. My concern, I had been was going to come up here and talk about a disaster plan. However, I emailed numerous people and could not get any responses. I did find an email that Mayor Waldron sent Miss Murphy, and he talks about how Laverne needs to grow, how Murfreesboro's growing and Nashville's growing, and Laverne is just going to be stagnant if you can't add to the city. And I agree, we do need to grow. However, we don't need homes. We need businesses. There's a lot of businesses sitting empty. Think about that. Get some people in here to get employment for the residents here. There's so many people going to Nashville every day and giving Nashville our tax money. I work in Nashville because there's no jobs in Laverne. You have such a high population of people. Bringing more homes in doesn't make sense when there's so many businesses. There's no place for the kids to go. There needs to be an indoor facility for children to go and have a safe place. There needs to be places that we can take our families to sit down and eat besides fast food restaurants. When you leave Smyrna and you drive from Smyrna past Antioch, into the first restaurant you see is downtown Nashville. You need to be proud of Laverne, clean Laverne up, put some things in here that people can go to and enjoy before you bring more people in here. Once you have accomplished that, then we can talk about putting homes in here. And I want to thank our fire department and our police department. I know that they're short, and I know that they work hard. I see these police officers out every night doing their job, and I know that that they have to answer things that none of us will ever understand. So thank you, and I just hope that you will consider not doing this and think about adding businesses and that can bring employment to your residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. State your name and address, please.
Michael McGowan, 476 Stones River Road, which is adjacent to both of these ordinances. Good evening, council members. Thank you for listening to us tonight. Just want to start off with that, and I address you as such because I want to remind you that at these meetings, each of your votes is equally important to us. Each of your voices is equally important. The people of this city depend on you to make the right choices for the growth and prosperity of our community. And I ask that each of you takes that into account tonight when you make your votes. I've lived here my whole life, all of 30 years. My brother lives here, my parents live here, my grandparents live here. My family might not have 200-year-old ties to Laverne. However, I think that I'm just as much a part of this city, this community, as any of you or any of the people here tonight. I also believe that the issues with ordinances 2017-01 and 2017-02 have been voiced at length over the last few meetings, and the general mood toward the rezoning of these plats is well established. I agree with the general public opinion here and urge you to vote unfavorably toward these ordinances. They go hand in hand, being adjacent to one another and proposed by the same man, and they should be voted on together, denied together. I'd like each of you to take a step back and look at this from the perspective of an observer. It seems to me that not many proposals or items get anywhere near this much attention. When's the last time that you had this strong an outpouring of your citizens for anything? As representatives of the great city of Laverne, each of you has the tremendous responsibility of acting on behalf of its peoples and making the decisions that will put your community's well-being first to better grow and shape your city. It is your duty to make the best possible decisions on what matters in Laverne. Those plats and these ordinances matter. They matter to all of us here tonight. They matter to your community. They matter to the concerned parents whose children suffer in school because they don't have the space or staff to keep up with the rapidly growing area and who have to ride already overcrowded school buses home. I drive a school bus for Rutherford County, and I know that these buses are overcrowded. My son tells me he rides a different bus home at least once a week because they have to split the load to be able to carry them all. It matters to us. You have a moral obligation here to listen to the voices of Laverne and show that you truly do care about what they have to say. So please vote against this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. State your name and your address, please.
Hi, my name is Carissa Benton. I live at 1803 Rory Cove for 18 years. And I was so excited to be able to come tonight. I did all kinds of research, and I was proud of myself because I wasn't just listening to what everyone else said. I was doing the research. And my research came from the City of Laverne websites on what our zoning ordinance were for our neighborhood and the things that we wanted for our community. And one of your links on your page, I'm going to read it straight from the page, said that the city is on the road to recovery from the unwarranted growth of the 1990s and 2000s. All of this shows generations of determination to remain a strong community. Unwarranted means unjustified. We're supposed to be on the road to recovery. But this is going to set us back. We're not going to be on recovery anymore. We're going to be like the alcoholic back in AA starting back on day one. 300 townhomes. I did the math. I went out to the Census Bureau. The average for Laverne is 3.19 people per home. If you put 300 townhomes, that's 957 possible people in those townhomes. But if you make Mr. Shriedman only build the zoning that's currently there, it would be at most 223 people. That's a huge difference. And I've read the emails, the responses from you, especially Mayor Waldron. You said that Rocky Fork Middle was going to fix the middle school problem. It's not. Our middle school will not be expanded until 2022. Rocky Fork Middle is going to help Stewart's Creek Middle. It is going to help Smyrna Middle and Rock Springs Middle. That doesn't help Smyrna Middle. I teach at Roy Waldron, and we finally got our expansion, and it's beautiful. And it got babies out of closets. Did you know that children were being taught in closets because there wasn't space? If it rained really badly, they were brought into the cafeteria, into my library, and huddled together and disrupted their learning. We're finally on the road to recovery. Please don't set us back. We need you to make the right decision for our community, because you wouldn't be sitting there if you didn't love Laverne. Please show us how much you love Laverne. And in your words, Mayor Waldron and Alderman Jones, in October, you put down, ma'am, you spoke against a zoning request. You said, in your words, sir, anytime a rezoning is on the agenda, I feel it is always best for it to be approved on the first reading to allow the item to go through a public hearing so we can hear from the citizens. Waldron told the Daily News Journal Wednesday, and this is October 5th, this was printed in the Journal. After hearing from the citizens, I made a decision to vote against the rezoning. One man wanted one house, and you made the right decision, sir, because you were afraid for the future. Alderman Jones, you said the same thing after seeing the petition and getting the phone calls. I didn't feel comfortable with it. Sir, we've got the petitions, we've got the phone calls, we've got the proof. Please make the right decision.
Thank you. Next. State your name and address, please.
Brian Roberge, 133 Vaughnwood Drive. Mayor Waldron, in your hands, you have a petition signed by over 500 residents against R3 zoning. I have read your statements that you have received many requests, phone calls, wanting this to happen. Where are your petitions? Where are your supporters? Where are your emails to show that side of this argument? Sherry, you and I stopped this 10 years ago when the builder wanted to put apartments in there. We need your vote again tonight, just like you voted 10 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. State your name and address, please.
Hello, my name is Hayden Church. I live at 1527 Waxman Drive. I'm here to say, please don't. I know this from experience. Every day I go home on a crowded bus. Almost 4 people to a seat. Sorry. Almost first time I'm nervous. Almost 4 people to a seat. In my classroom, we don't even have enough desks for these kids to be sitting at. They're sitting on the air heaters. They're going out into the hallway to learn. They're even going into the gym and cafeterias. Putting these new homes out in this zoned area will just constantly add these kids for the middle, elementary school, and high school, which I'm in right now as a freshman. For this to be happening, it's just going to constantly add kids into all of our schools, on our school buses, in our more area. And, sorry. And about everything that's happening, just adding these homes with not even just the kids, even some of the adults, with the crime rate as it is right now, it's still going to constantly go up if you add more people into it. Thank you.
Thank you. State your name and address, please.
Matt Church, 1527 Waxman Drive. That's my son. I usually come in here and throw tires and act a fool, get people yelling at me, get escorted out. I did not ask my son to speak tonight. We were at the high school basketball game. He did the color guard. He said, "Dad, do they allow kids to speak?" I never in my wildest dreams would think that he's carrying the hardship that we're carrying. And, I mean, what a smack in the face as an adult. When kids are trying to make a stand, he's not out sitting on Murfreesboro Road blocking traffic. He's 14 years old. He came and addressed the elected officials in the town that he will raise his kids in. Ms. Green, 20 years ago, it was different in Laverne. Mayor Waldron, you said you've been here 200 years. Your family has been here 200 years, and they've done amazing things. Mr. Schreibman has done amazing things in this town. But this isn't right for our community. It takes you 18 minutes to get from David's Way to the red light at 4170 every morning. We got documentation, we've recorded it. Why would we add another 300 homes, townhomes, on the same exit? It just doesn't make sense. And maybe the tire thing works. I mean, maybe yelling and screaming works, but it's not gonna work for this. It's gonna be sincerity and the people speaking, and what my son just did, no one on that board could ever take away. Because he'll be here a lot longer than I am. And obviously, he does it a little different. His manners are a little better than mine. So I just learned something tonight, too. You can address the board respectful. You can speak from the heart. And we're trying. So if you'll meet us in the middle, I think we can get through this together. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor? State your name and address, please.
My name is William Benton, 1803 Rory Cove. Tonight, you guys basically have a very hard decision, and that's not anything short of the truth. You've heard a lot of people come up here and speak. They spoke from their heart. A lot of them have spoke basically statistics, etc. Every one of you guys are elected officials, and you were put there for a reason, because the people of Laverne put their trust in you to make the right decision. This is not the right decision. Ethically, morally, this does not make sense. Do the right thing. Do the right thing by the people. Listen to your heart. Listen to the people. We have a lot of respect for every one of you. We have a lot of respect for our firefighters, our police department. They do a wonderful job. Do the right thing. Thanks.
Yeah.
My name is William Dial. I live at 130 Tulip Poplar. I don't have the concerns that some of these citizens do. The only concern is that I own properties in Davidson County, Warren County, and Rutherford County. And any time that a property is to be rezoned, we have notification by mail, even to in Davidson County. And they're building all around us. I have yet to see or receive that notice here in Laverne, which disappoints me quite greatly, believe me, because I think we've got a tremendous little city here. There are just some ruffling going on. Now, my concern is that you're going to be putting up these condos or apartments or whatever they're going to be off Stones River Road. Well, I happen to own 6.5 acres. In the last 2 weeks, I've done turned down 4 people offer me bunches of money for my property so they can put up more condos. Right now, they've bulldozed off right up next to my property line, about 200 or 300 foot. What I need to know is, how am I going to keep the riffraff and all the garbage and stuff off of my property, beautiful woods? How am I going to keep them off my property? How am I going to keep them coming up in my backyard, doing whatever they want to do? The only thing I can think of is I'm going to keep the Laverne Police Department pretty active, because every time I catch them, I'm calling them. But the other concern I've got is, the city made us a bunch of promises down in Bondwood several years ago. Go ahead and let us annex you, and you'll have city services. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got sewer completely encircling Bondwood, and I have yet to receive it. You know, maybe we don't have the funds for it. I don't know. But maybe we need to start addressing some of the concerns that some of the citizens have, like sewer. We don't have it. I pay a water runoff fee. My water runs down the hill, runs into a branch, and runs into the lake. You know, why? I don't have city sewer. In Metro, I pay a runoff fee, but I have a sewer there. It runs off my property into the sewer. So I can understand that. But we're sitting down there with no sewer. We're having buildings coming in all around us. I can't understand why you people would vote yes to go ahead and do this, unless it's like the pizza delivery guy delivering to the man with AIDS. You know, he's afraid to open the door, so all he's going to do is deliver him pancakes or pizza, because that's the only thing he can slide under the door on him. And I hope that ain't what's happening here tonight. I hope that this isn't already cut and dried. I believe it is, but prove me wrong. Is it cut and dried? Only your conscience can know. But I think it's already cut and dried, so everybody's wasting their time up here tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next. Next speak.
Montevaden. I live at 120 Toon Drive. And I think what everyone is kind of addressing here is a concern over quality versus quantity. We want the city to grow. We do. We all support it. We want our property values to increase. We want to make a better life for our families, for our communities. But we want it done at a pace that we can absorb. And right now, we're already so far behind. We're concerned about our own safety. We're concerned about the safety of the children. Mayor, I know you have grandchildren. You know, Kevin and I are trying to start families and raise families. We want this to be an amazing city for years to come. And right now, we just want to keep pace. Murfreesboro did it great. Smyrna did it well. We could do it better because we have better people and we believe in ourselves and we believe in you guys and we believe in the city. So, 70 homes with less than 300 people. We already have homes going in. We have homes empty. We can bring in people. We still have properties that are sitting empty that are foreclosed that people can get at great values. But we want to build at the pace that makes sense, and we need your help to do it. And again, it's just a matter of quality versus quantity, and to make sure that we do it right, not just for us, but for these kids. Because they're the next people. And, you know, after you guys, after us, it's them. So let's make sure we don't leave them with the kind of stuff that we were left, which was a boom that we couldn't control, populations that were underserved. That's all we want, and we hope that you'll listen to us tonight. So thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Hello, Board. I'm John Skinner. I reside at 790 Stones River Road. Most of y'all that have been here for a while know my family. And you know, we've always been about the city. I love the city. I grew up here. When I had the opportunity to buy the property next to Mom's house, I took it. Why? I knew it. This is my home. Well, my home is being destroyed right now. And I got a feeling when this R3 zoning comes in, it's going to destroy a lot of other people's homes. Not only that, it's going to create a hardship for people that live back there in Bondwood behind us. He said, we have no sewer. When I moved out here, I bought the place in 2003, moved out in 2005. I was told that couldn't get sewer. Had water I could tap on, Frank and them never had water, so I went ahead and got the water. I said, sewer's gonna be soon. Well, I've been told all this time that sewer's not going to be coming down there. But we've got all this runoff coming from Lake Forest. Used to, the property that has been bulldozed next to my house would absorb most of it. There's nothing there. I don't know if any of y'all have been over there to see what's going on, but I talked to a couple people from the state, Ms. Kendra Apkowitz, who is the Director of Policy for the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation, and she has advocated to the city. So the city has their own codes, zoning, all this. And I said, well, you know, that's all fine and well, but what if the criteria meant for them to be doing this is not met? Then we have to go to the city. So I guess y'all can pass the message on to Mr. Randolph Sallier that I'll be seeing him next Monday and Tuesday. I've always loved the city. I've never wavered from that, not once. When I graduated from high school, graduated from Smyrna High School. Why? Because as the people of Smyrna said, y'all city so poor, y'all can't even afford your own high school. Well, we've got our own high school, and guess what? It's max capacity. All the other schools, the same. Let's fill up the homes that are vacant right now before we allow any more building to go on. And as far as this R3, it's a disaster. You've got to do something about it. You've got to vote no. And I'm talking to every one of you, the ones that I know personally and the ones that I will know in the very near future. I love this city. I love the people in this city because we, the people, make this city. Listen to us. Vote no against this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dick.
If I may, I would like to read something from Sandra McKinney. She Facebooked right at 6 o'clock. She was sick and was unable to come up here, so she asked if somebody could read her comments. So, since I did not receive a response from everyone on the board, I wanted to make sure all of you heard my concerns. I have yet to hear from one person in favor of this happening. The citizens have spoken, and we need you to honor your oath and listen to your constituents whom you represent. If you would go back to your previous decision on the zoning issue that we brought before you on 10/4/16, you will recall you denied a zoning change from R1 to R3 and deprived a landowner from building his one dream home on the property sitting for the following reasons. Mayor Waldron, as it stood, a 50-foot buffer would be required if any industrial-type building was built on the property, ensuring that the area would remain quiet. In your own words, you stated, you will know there is a subdivision behind you if the R1 zoning is passed, even though the man had only intended on building the one house. So do you think 300 townhomes will do to the serenity of the current area? Alderman Brown, you cited traffic congestion and wildlife conservation as a reason to not deny the request. Obviously, this is already a large concern to anyone who has traveled that route and will only become worse if this is allowed to pass, as well as all of the wooded areas that have already been destroyed in anticipation of this happening. You also stated that this is your job to represent and to be the voice of the people. Please do the same at this time. Alderman Jones, you started out by saying you listen to the citizens and vote how they want you to vote, and I don't make votes to get votes. Prove it. You also said that there were other efforts that could be presented to the developer, although time and time again it was stated that this man was not a developer, for him to build his dream home elsewhere. The same can be said for this situation. There are many other areas that would be much better suited for this type and size of development. It does not need to be crammed into this already overpopulated area. Lastly, you commented when the current residents brought their properties, they were buying with the belief that the land was R1 and had no reason to think it would change. What about the residents in this area? Do they not deserve the same consideration? I ask all of you to consider the impact this will have on the schools that are already at maximum capacity. The children's safety cannot be guaranteed when they have to walk across a parking lot from a trailer classroom to the school building to go to the restroom. Furthermore, their education will suffer if we have to hire subpar teachers just to have the legal ratio of teachers to children. Please consider our safety. Please consider the safety of our emergency responders and the citizens that they are trying to help and protect. Our police department is already understaffed. Although they do an amazing job, there is no doubt that their abilities and judgment will be compromised when they are overlooked and overstressed. I have my comments now. Now can I make my comments? Hi, my name is Victoria Whitlow, and I live at 124 Tulip Poplar Drive. So why am I against the R3 zoning? Well, let me first tell you a little bit about myself because I fear history repeating. I grew up on the Illinois side of St. Louis, Missouri in a town called Cahokia, Illinois. It was a post-World War II era town that hit a housing boom in the late 50s, which offered affordable housing. $12,000 would move you in. It was all good until the economic downturn happened in the mid-'80s. Houses were foreclosed upon, stores closed up, and the city was on the brink of bankruptcy, and the town literally died. My mom and dad remained in St. Louis through all this, but when she passed in 1994, I told my dad he was moving to Tennessee because I feared for his safety. All of those empty, cheap houses on the market killed his property value, not to mention the crime that took over a once safe city. For a man that worked 40-plus years towards the dream of home ownership, well, his return on investment was significantly less than he had ever imagined. Fast forward to Laverne today. My husband and I have been residents here for 24 years. We both work hard and look forward at the downhill side of our mortgage and eye on retirement in 10 to 15 years. Our dream of home ownership is close, but what will Laverne be like in 10 to 15 years? Will we be moving away, finding a place to retire where we feel safe? What will our house be worth in 2027? Bad location, next to an apartment building, a busy street, or a school district that is less than desirable are all devaluating and detrimental to your property value. Rentals with unkept yards, couches on porches, cars on blocks, or a yard full of cars parked. We already experience those type of issues with little or no enforcement by the city. So let me close and steal with pride a comment that was made at our last meeting. Does Laverne want to look like Antioch, or do we want to look like Smyrna? Thank you.
State your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Mary Jane Skinner. I live at 792 Stones River Road. We bought the property where we are in 1958. We were stationed at Seward Air Force Base then. This was our dream home. I was raised in the country. As a matter of fact, I was raised on the bayous of Louisiana. We don't have bayous here. Got a little creek running across my place. But if this R3 goes through, our property value, I am afraid, will go down, even though they're talking about building homes right next to us. My children went to, at the time, it was Laverne Elementary. Then they went to John Coleman, Thurman Francis, on to Smyrna High School. My grandchildren went to Laverne schools, on into high school. They're both in college now. I don't think they would have had that opportunity if it had not been for the good schools here in Laverne. We appreciate the hard work that the teachers have done, the Board of Education. I worked for Roy Waldron for 30 years in the cafeteria. I have seen boys and girls come through there, and when they would come and say, my grandpa or my grandma said to tell you hi, I knew it was time to leave then. But, but anyway, our police department is so understaffed. I hate to call them for anything out to the house, for anything at all. Even for an animal that sprayed me one day. And But they were very nice. The dispatcher was very nice about it, and he said I would have to call pause, which they did come out and get the skunk. But that's the last time I'm gonna be nice to a wild animal. No more transporting it to the lake and letting it go. But please reconsider voting on R3, because we don't need any more homes here. Our schools are busting at the seams, and I've seen some of these buses. Kids are standing in the aisle because there's no place for them to sit. And I know the bus drivers get frustrated. So please reconsider this R3 vote and vote against it. And I mean, where I live, we have no more trees because they have bulldozed it. The sinkholes are being filled full of rocks. Talk to the codes here in the city, and they say there's nothing can be done about it. But we're going to try some more. So thank you for listening. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ned.
I'm Larry Lanker. I live at 112 Tulip Poplar Drive. And I appreciate the chance to speak to you all this evening. I had a whole bunch to say, but I'm going to shorten it. My concerns are all the concerns that these folks have. I ask you to vote no on the rezoning of this property. And there's a quote from a man I consider a great leader of my generation, H. Norman Schwarzkopf. And it says, quote, "We all know the right thing to do. The hard part is doing it," end quote. Thank you.
Please state your name and address, please.
Hello, my name is Rachel Mata, and I live at 367 Clear Lake Drive. I bought my house 4 years ago here in Laverne as a teacher in Antioch. Now I know some smack's been thrown at Antioch tonight, and I'm going to go ahead and stick with that. I love the students that I teach, but I did not want to live there. Also, as a teacher, I didn't want to be in the same neighborhood as my kids. So I bought my house on Clear Lake Drive. And on the drive to my house, you go down Stones River Road and take that right on Hollandale. And when they started bulldozing those trees the other day, or a couple weeks ago, my heart just broke. And I thought, oh no, they're putting in houses. That was part of the whole reason why I bought my house where I did. I feel safe. I'm a single woman, and I bought my first home all on my own in Laverne because I feel like Laverne is a safe place. Please help keep Laverne a safe place by voting no to the rezoning. Thank you.
Next. State your name and address, please.
My name is Aaron Bach. I live at 610 Carrie Hawkins Cove here in Laverne. And I kind of feel like I'm beating a dead horse. A lot of these people say already what I wanted to say. My girls ride the school bus to Laverne Middle. They refuse to ride it now because there's no place for them to sit. So I get home from work from third shift at Nissan, pick them up, take them to work before I go home and go to bed. The school's busting at the seams. They have no room for anybody else. My son just graduated from Laverne High School this last year. He is telling us the same thing about Laverne High School. And Stones River Road is crumbling and falling apart down there when you're heading down there towards the lake and the boat ramp. I've been down there to Miss Skinner's house a couple times and seen the property, and it looks like words I won't use in front of ladies right now in here because it's terrible. So it doesn't need to be built. We don't need more and more traffic coming down that road. It takes forever to get out of Laverne in the morning. Remember when I used to work first shift in Nashville trying to get out of this place, I had to leave an hour and a half early just to get out of here in time to sit in traffic on 24 to get to work on time. So I respectfully ask you to vote no for this new rezoning. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next.
Mayor Walden, members of the board, my name is Tom White. I'm an attorney with Toon Epton & White, 315 Dedrick Street. I represent the applicant in this case. I urge the board to remember the great deference this board's always given to the Planning Commission here, the planner. This particular matter was clearly approved by the Planning Commission. I ask you also to remember the issues raised tonight had to do with inadequate police, fire, schools, sewer, and water. Every one of those issues must legally be considered by the Planning Commission, every one of them. They were considered, they approved it at the Planning Commission. Comments were made tonight about an activity about 10 years ago where they sought a similar rezoning on this property, and I want to reference some of the things that have happened since that 10 years ago. These are road improvements. Near Schreibman Roundabout to David's Way. Number 2, Dick Buchanan to Highland Ridge. Number 3, Floyd Mayfield to David's Way. Number 4, Waldron Road widening. There are 4 intersection improvements, which are Fergus Road at Murfreesboro Road, near Schreibman at Murfreesboro Road, Stones River Road at Murfreesboro Road, and Dick Buchanan Street at Murfreesboro Road. All these were done in part with monies generated by the development that's there. With respect to the utilities, that was mentioned. There have been significant upgrades, the water treatment plant, water lines, sewer lines, and pump lift station. With respect to the fire and police, let's deal with that. Over the last 10 years, the ISO has been dropped from 5 to 3. That's an incredible improvement by a very capable fire department. They've also added approximately 15 part-time employees. The police department, over that same period of time, they've added 6 new men, 10 new cars. The infrastructure is something that has clearly improved over those 10 years. With respect to the schools, you've heard the really quality of schools that you have right now. That's not going to change. And with respect to the issue that's here tonight, I asked you to consider that you're taking into account things as a legislative body where the Planning Commission has looked at it, recommended approval. It's not always popular to do the appropriate zoning, that's understood. And some people made comments they shouldn't have, others were heartfelt, but they're all there. I asked you to consider, this is a zoning on the specific issue, 2 acres. It goes from R1 to R3. And I asked you to consider what's being proposed is townhomes. Townhomes, 10 per acre, approximately 20 to 25 max on this 2 acres that we're discussing now. The price point, 160 to 200,000. That's workforce housing. That's not federally funded housing. That's an entry-level home for police, fire, and teachers, and they deserve a place like that. For somebody to say that an R3 zoning drags down the values in that area has not experienced living in that as a first-time entrant. It's a quality of life that people will embrace, that'd be a great addition to the community, and I would urge you to do the right thing and ask you to go ahead and approve this tonight as you did when this first came up. As far as the planning, everything that was discussed tonight was considered by them as they favorably recommended it. Appreciate your courtesy and consideration. I appreciate your commitment to public service. Thank you.
Next. Now we're going to have order in here now. Next.
My name is Mike Cortez. I live at 860 Stones River Road. Had no intention of addressing the board tonight, but I would like to ask the gentleman who was just up here where he lives.
I'm gonna warn y'all one more time. We're gonna have order. I'm gonna call a recess. It's up to y'all. Gentlemen, you got the floor.
I bet he doesn't live on Stones River Road or any place up in the Lake Forest States. We have to put up with this additional traffic, strain on the police department, the fire department. I moved to Laverne in 1993. We have a nice place down on Stones River Road. I've watched the road deteriorate ever since we've been there. I think it was paved one time since 1993. The road is constantly falling off. People hit the guardrails down there. But this is not good for us. How much money is involved? How much tax base is involved with these additional homes? Is the tax base going to compensate for the additional stress on the city's facilities, the sewer, the water, the police, the fire department? I don't think so. Of course, as I said, I didn't do the research that most of these other people did. But never did hear where that lawyer was from. Where do you live, sir? I guess it ain't Laverne. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening. My name is Nikki McGowan. I'm here to speak on behalf of my family at 476 Stones River Road. I had absolutely no intention of speaking tonight because I spoke last time and my husband spoke tonight. However, kind words spoken by someone else, kind of pushed my hand and made me want to come up here and speak. First, the roads. Yes, they were improved some time ago. However, when we have people today saying they are taking 18 to 20 minutes to get out of the development, that's not enough to accommodate what we have going on right now. It will not accommodate what's to come. Second, he said 10 townhomes per acre. What we are specifically talking about is 2 acres on 466 Stones River Road. 20 townhomes to be added right there in my backyard once again. Police, we all know that they need a lot more help than what is being told. Come on, guys, you know better. Also, the schools, nobody is going to speak higher about these schools and their needs than the teachers who spoke today. A lawyer can speak whatever he wants to speak, but you don't know unless you're on the front lines. A teacher was up here crying her eyes out and made me sympathetic, a lot of these other people sympathetic as well, preaching to you the needs of this community. Nothing can be spoken higher than that. She is on the front lines providing for our kids. Please take this into consideration and vote with these 2 acres, and I understand we're speaking about the 2 acres, but 24 also go along with it. Please vote no on this. It's going to drastically affect our community, and we don't need it. Thank you.
Next.
My name is Teresa Ragsdale. I live at 2105 Montgomery Lane, and I wasn't planning on speaking tonight, but I have to. I listened to boom, 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 all these cars going up and down the road with their big woofers or whatever, and all the litter, all the speeding, and all the trash. I have picked up trash myself personally because I care about this community. This is where I live. I have lived in Madison Square for almost 15 years. I've lived in Rutherford County for 30. My son went to school here when the schools were good and there was no overcrowding. And I'd like to keep it that way. Vote no against this, please.
Thank you. Next.
My name is Samantha Hardison. I'm at 609 Holland Ridge Drive. I'm going to apologize right now because public speaking is like my biggest fear. But after hearing all these other people, I'm surely not going to speak as eloquently as most of them. But I do have 2 young children in the schools. We have specific knowledge from teachers and from school board members stating that this is going to be a negative thing on our schools if we allow this amount of families to move in. Sure, we can handle some R1 and we can handle a smaller amount of families. We cannot handle 900 people on these additional acres. That the last gentleman that spoke for it, the only gentleman that spoke for it, mentioned only the 2 acres. But we're also considering the other acreage, okay? There's 2 different sets going on here. So you've got to take a look at that. Sure, he said we hired 6 new officers. That's fantastic. But how many officers have been fired, let go, or retired in that same amount of time? We are still understaffed, and you guys know that. One of my main concerns, why are we not upping our impact fees? The impact fees that our city has for these builders doesn't cover anything. Why we need to look at these impact fees and seriously take a look at them compared to other counties and cities around us. We're not in a recession anymore. We can charge these builders a higher amount and make them want to build homes that are quality, not quantity. We want better homes. We want fewer homes with less amount of people. He also mentioned something along the lines of
the R3 being affordable housing between $150,000 and $200,000. That's fantastic. But I suggest you go in and look at the real estate out in Lake Forest and see how many homes you can find already priced in that price range. This is no more affordable than the homes that are already on the market and that he can build for the same price range. He just can't get as much for his land. Please, listen to the people. We've given you numbers and statistics. Vote no, please.
Thank you. It's been 1 hour. I'm going to allow one more person to speak that hadn't already spoke. If they want to come up and speak, they speak. If not, we're going to move on to the citizen forum. Anyone that wants to speak that hadn't already speak, time to speak is now.
Mayor Aldermen, I have a
Come to speak your name and your address, please.
My name is Tony Finetta, and I live at 131 Greenwood Drive. None of their problems are mine. I don't live in Lake Forest. But where I do live is on the other side. The last time we had this many people in this room is when Mayor Mosley had to go up on the water and sewer and the taxes. Now, we have a 5-year plan the way I understand it, but we cannot go over a certain allotment of poop going down the chute to Nashville, the way I understand it. So is MNI going to pay for the extra poop going down the chute to Nashville? Because we're going to have to pay for it. My water and sewer bill is $100 and something. Needless to say, I have kids in my house. They take a shower every day. The schools are no longer my problem. I have one kid left. But it's not good for the seniors whatsoever, because eventually it's going to go up on the water and sewer again. Because you're talking about 900 more people and whatever else that Amnon can get Dennis to get R3 on. And yes, I'm nervous about standing up here because usually I tell people where to go. But this is important. This is important to my seniors that this does not go R3. And R3 should not even be considered for Laverne until we can get our water and sewer under control. Now, I do want to thank the police officers. They work hard, and the firemen. But also, our water and sewer and city people work their butts off. Now, I've been on water and sewer breaks. How much pressure is this going to put on our lines? Have you been out there when it was 30 degrees? When you see the workers in water up to here? No, none of y'all have. Jason, I know he hadn't, but he's new. I don't see Bruce out there. You can barely get him to events. I mean, we need to stop the R3s in Laverne, period, not just in Lake Forest, because our water and sewer is ridiculous. And everybody wanted to put Zena down for raising it and everything else, but she had to fix it for where Dennis, Jerry Gann, Mark Mache, and all of them messed it up. So where's the money going to come from to pay for it when the money runs out? And they want more millions of dollars to ship our poop down the chute to Nashville. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for all the comments, citizens. Anybody needs a break, or if not, well, we're going to go on into the citizen forum. I need to call, Bruce, I need to call the hearing over. I call the hearing closed. Notice and being after 6:45, we're going to start the citizen forum. As mayor, it's my duty to enforce order. Officer Call and Fessmeyer are the sergeant of arms and will assist in maintaining order. Those who are signed up to speak will be recognized for 3 minutes. In no event will the citizen forum last more than 1 hour. Unless you are recognized by me and granted permission to speak, you are not to address the board or otherwise make any verbal noises that can be heard by any members of the board during these proceedings. If you do, it may declare you are out of order, and you proceed after being declared out of order, your conduct will be deemed a substantial interruption with these proceedings. Thereupon, you will be removed from these chambers. You may also face criminal charges proceed to TCA 39-17-306. It is my sincere hope that everyone participating in these proceedings will conduct themselves in a polite manner with respect shown to all regardless of disagreement. We'll start out. The first one is Cena Mosley. Come to the podium and speak your name and address.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. Cena Mosley, 149 Greenwood Drive. I'm going to kind of lighten the load tonight. I'll give y'all the opportunity to laugh at me. I'm here tonight to personally thank the police department, the fire department. I had a little episode of all nights. It was Friday the 13th. My daughter and I were at my house, and we were eating habanero salsa. And I choked and passed out. It scared my daughter to death, and as most of y'all know, she has had some surgery, so she's not in the best of health. And she calls 911, and I swear I think SWAT was falling from the ceiling when I came to. We are so lucky here in Laverne to have the response time. Everybody knows my husband works in another city, we won't mention it, but their response times are not what we have here. I mean, it's phenomenal, people. And I mean, yeah, I'm gonna say we've all been at odds and mad about Laverne, and Laverne's this and Laverne's that. And I know none of you up there have anything to do with an emergency background. That's all I've ever known. But guess what? We're all in the same boat when you need that. Because I was raised around emergency, but guess what? I was passed out. So I was in the same boat as anybody that doesn't know emergency. And let me just tell you, Officer Chastain was first in the door, and right behind him was Micah Macheto and Alan McCormick. They were so professional, and I'll be honest, I was, number one, embarrassed. Number two, I was a little frazzled, didn't quite know what was going on, and they made me feel very, very comfortable. And I guess what I'm trying to get at, I've tried to stay out of the arguments because I'm going to be honest with y'all, the only thing I care about right now is taking care of that little grandbaby. But my daughter taught here. She wants to come back here after her maternity, and it is important. It is so important to know what's going on, and I do care, and I do want y'all to realize these officers, you add that many more homes, they're shorthanded. Our fire department is going to add that much more to the response time. And y'all, everything, and I've always said this from the time I was in the politics to the time now, I'm just a grandma. If you're not safe, nothing else matters. So please, please consider this. But I just wanted to add that, and I just felt the heart to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. And I don't know what we would do without you, and I pray none of you ever need them, but I'm here to tell you, they fall from the ceiling when you do. And I just got one more thing, sir, to say. East Shreveman to David's Way, he didn't pay a dime on it. I was in charge, and we bonded the money.
Thank you. Next is Hector Leon. Hector Leon. Next will be Stacy Lanker.
Stacy Linker, 112 Tulip Poplar Drive. Pretty much my argument's the same. I'd really like to talk about an emergency management plan, but I can't get anybody to respond to my emails to tell me. Maybe it's a spam issue, because I emailed the police department, the fire department, Rutherford County, you, Mayor Waldron, all the aldermans. Nobody can tell me what the emergency disaster plan is for Rutherford, for Laverne, if we have a disaster emergency. So, you know, I feel like adding more people is just not the right decision. And I want you to I really want you to focus on thinking about bringing businesses in here that can employ people. and quit sending people to Nashville every day to work. You want to bring money to the city, you got to keep your residents here at home. I do worry about our police officers. He says that we have enough of them. I disagree. I grew up in law enforcement. That's all I've ever known. Nashville doesn't have enough law enforcement. The reason that I moved to Laverne was because of Chief Walker. I saw the statistics that changed when he moved here. But if you keep adding people, it's going to go back, the crime rate's going to go back up and everything's going to fall apart again. Because we don't have the funds for officers. We don't have the funds to help our fire department. So please consider these things and consider the children. The children are our future. I want to see the kids get a great education. I was fortunate. I was able to go to private school. I didn't have overcrowding. I don't know what that's like. But I see these kids standing on the buses. I see so many of them getting off the bus. When I'm stopped behind one, I'm just amazed. Like, where'd they come from? Think about the kids and think about the safety of your citizens, because one death is not worth any of this stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. Next will be John Skinner. Mr. John?
Hello again, Board. What I'd like to know is what geological research has been done on this area. When I talked to Ms. Apkowitz today, she said she knew that there was 5 sinkholes. And I said, oh, is that it? Well, together they've got 3 of them that opened up almost half the size of this room. I asked her, what happens if these are cave openings? Because if they start blasting and that land falls, it's going to impact everybody around there. Where does the water flow? Well, we all know it goes down there to my property because I'm the lowest part. I'm the only one in the flood zone here. Now to talk about building in roads and stuff like that, heavy machinery. Look, I walked around that 17 acres around me my entire life. And there's no place for the animals to go there except for the Corps of Engineers across the street, which is good and safe for them, I suppose. But I don't see any deer anymore. I don't see any turkey anymore. And you know what's going to hurt my feelings is when the Cub Scouts come to camp out this spring and all they see is the houses on the other side of Hollandale Road. Now look, I say no to this R3 zoning. Why? Yeah, all right, I may be gone tomorrow, but I want to make sure that not only my grandchildren, but everybody else's grandchildren here has a beautiful place to call home. Now, all these houses are not going to make it beautiful. And I'm just worried about my safety right now. So yes, I am a little biased in my opinion here. But you do it on up there, everybody knows there's cave systems around here. And yes, they can fill in sinkholes. It has to be approved, checked by the city twice a week if I'm not mistaken. So far, everything is up to date except for a couple permits that have not been dated that are in there. We need to check on this and find out what we can do to, you know, I'm going to try stopping it on my end. I don't even want to see it get started up there around the traffic circle, because it's going to be a nightmare of existential portions when it happens. Let's fill in what we've got open right now. Let's not, for this, these 2 parcels you're talking about tonight, forever. We have enough homes. We have enough facilities. Let's catch up with what we have. Let's try to get back some of what we had. Again, all I can tell you is to vote no on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up is Miss Mary Jane Skinner.
My name is Mary Jane Skinner, live at 792 Stones River Road. Like I stated earlier, I've been here since '58 when we were looking for property. Getting back to our police department, we do have one of the finest police departments I feel around. They're there to help you whenever you need help. Even though they tell me better not get in trouble. But I'll tell you what happened one morning when I went to work. I got stopped by one of the policemen. He has retired since then, but I have admired that man. One day at school, he didn't have any money for lunch. Guess who paid for his lunch? Said, don't worry about it. 3 years later, he stops me, and I'm thinking he's going to give me a ticket. He gave me $2 to pay for his lunch. So this is the kind of police officers that we have. Fire department, we have one of the greatest fire departments, I think. Even better than Nashville, better than Murfreesboro. Now, getting back to this land. This land is our land. But it's going by the wayside. I drive through Lake Forest just about every day. I see for rent, for sale. Why build more homes? Why? 300 homes. Why build any more and put pressure on the city? When my son's septic tank went out on him, I came to the city to see about getting sewage. I was told for $30,000 we could get sewage run down our way. But if we got 20 other families, 20 to 25 other families to get on the sewage, it would only cost us $1,000. So what is it going to do to us now? We have a septic tank. And another thing, my backyard sits on a not sinkholes, on a cave. I'm sorry, people. I'm 81 years old, okay? It's on a cave. We don't plant anything there. You go by and you can, if you got a tapping bar, y'all know what a tapping bar is, you hear that thump, thump, thump. And you know it's hollow down there. And there is sinkholes all the way around us. And we were told that they would have to be something put in there. Okay, I'm gone. Thank you for your time. Okay.
All right, Aaron Holiday.
I'm not going to miss an opportunity to brag on our schools, and so with a crowd like this, I'm certainly going to take advantage of that. We have over 90 different languages spoken in Rutherford County schools, and if you don't think that's a challenge, let me tell you, it really is. We are very, very blessed, though, with performance. We'll see the governor highlighting issues of education in Rutherford County on Thursday and Friday of this week. He'll be visiting our county, highlighting those things. About a week and a half ago, he was here to celebrate that Central Magnet School, where some of our highest achieving Laverne students go, has the highest ACT score in the state of Tennessee. The #1 high school in the state of Tennessee, right here in Rutherford County now. We educated over $1,000 per student less than the state average expenditure, and so we do it with incredible efficiency. We do that because of a flat pyramid. We talk about needing to hire excellent teachers. We absolutely hire wonderful administrators who hire excellent teachers, and they empower these folks to do the job in the classroom. The board right now is working on a work ethic designation. This will be a graduation designation that is going to be in place to recognize qualities that we hear from employers. I want to know which students show up regularly. Hey, they have good attendance. They have excellent citizenship. They know how to be punctual. And maybe they're making B's and C's, but they've got the qualities that say that they're trainable. And we're going to put in place a work ethic designation for their diploma, that they'll have a seal on their diploma if they qualify for that designation. Finally, I want to highlight what I really consider is the gem of Laverne, the Roy Waldron Drama Team. March 17th and 18th, they'll be putting on their performance of Annie, which is their performance for this spring. And perhaps before we have an occasion with so many citizens together, again, I certainly want to highlight that you will regret missing that performance March 17th and 18th at Roy Waldron Elementary for that drama program. They are an outstanding group. When we touch those lives and we let them imagine what they might become, a lot of times that's the start of inspiration that then propels them into dual enrollment and opportunities beyond that. Education is the key, and we do such a great job of it. Thank you.
Next is Geraldine Phillips.
I want to concentrate on the traffic of Waldron Road, or Stone River Road. My voice carries. The traffic goes up and down, and they don't go at 30 miles like y'all got posted. They fly up and down that road. You put more traffic on that road. I think a couple years ago y'all said something about widening it. It would be devastation if you did, because they, even before now, they knocked down my mailbox 5 times in 1 year. And I finally got disgusted and got a post office box. And I appreciate the police department, the fire department. I've even let them. Some of them's been in my home. I let them turn around or get the cars out of the road so they can do what they got to do to let the traffic keep them moving. I appreciate y'all very, very much. Some of you have been in my house. I was on the police force in Kentucky. And if anybody's ever owned one and spent the night, they'd put bars on their windows and doors because of the crime. And the more people comes in here, the chief's gonna need more people. They're gonna need the fire engines, and the police goes up and down out there on Stone River Road. A lot of times it wakes me up during the night, sometimes it don't. But I'll tell you what, we have got, they have more, how I want to say it, manners than some of people I do know. I respect the mayor, Chief Walters there. I love to bug him, and I like to say they do a good job for what they get paid for. But I know one thing, y'all gotta have somebody out there to curb them down from driving 40 and 50 miles down Stone River Road. They've had wrecks out there, and they have to, people's run off in the ditch around the corner there on Mason and Stone River Road and Sand Hill. Thank you.
Next will be William Dow.
William Dial, 130 Tulip Poplar. I want to say I agree with most of the people that spoke up here tonight. This nice young lady just got speaking. She's telling the truth. I live down Stones River Road, and our police department can't be everywhere at one time, and I leave my house at about 5:30 in the morning. I will guarantee you I'll run 35 to 38 miles an hour, and there's some of these fine citizens I'm not fast enough, so they're passing me on Stones River Road, right there right in front of Lake Forest, coming into the curves, coming down the hill. They don't care. You know, it's reckless endangerment, but our police department can't be everywhere at one time, and I understand that because you folks say they're fully staffed. I don't know whether they are or not. From some of the stuff I've seen, they're not. I do know from what I have seen, they do an excellent job. They are curbing a lot of things. We don't see Laverne on the news like you do, Smyrna, Murfreesboro, Goodlettsville, Nashville. You just don't see that. Okay, our department is doing a good job. Our fire department, I hope I never need their services, but I hear they do a splendid job. But the R3 zoning and the condos that's going to go in, that's going to hurt our city. And this distinguished gentleman behind me back here that's for it, he probably lives in a gated community. He don't live down here in real life. He's got fences around him, or he's got this or that, and he's up here getting $350, $400 an hour to speak for it, which that's his job, and I respect that. I also respect the rights of a landowner. The man that owns the land has a right to develop them, but he has that right to come through the council or the alderman to get approval to do this. You know, we have a code department. We need approval. Do we need to go from R1 to R3? What kind of burdens it putting on our schools? Who knows? You know, you've got stats out here that said it's going to do this, going to do that. I've heard school bus drivers talking about the buses being overloaded. I've heard teachers talk about the schools being crowded. Probably are. I don't have first-hand knowledge of that. Like I say, I get up and go to work at 5:30 in the morning, get home at 6 o'clock at night. I run a business in Nashville and just don't have time for it. This is my first city meeting. But I feel that I had to come up here and address these people today, and you folks here on the alderman. I think what's going to happen here is wrong. I really do. And if it's a yes vote for it, then you're voting yourself out of office, because there's a movement back here that's really going to put a target on you. And I hope you do the right thing. You know, for you folks that live in the gated communities and that this is not affecting you, I understand that. But understand our perspective on the other side of it. Thank you.
Next will be Carissa Benton.
Oh, I'm so tickled pink. I'm Carissa Benton at 1803 Rory Cove. I'm excited I get to be up here again because there were so many things I wanted to say, and I want you to understand why this is so important to me. I've heard people say, don't be like this city, don't be like that city, let's be like that city. I want us to be like Laverne. I want everybody else to say, I want to be like Laverne, because we're great. Our kids deserve it. I look at my baby sitting back there, and it's almost his bedtime, but he's here supporting me because he knew this was important to me, because this is his future. He's at Laverne Lake. I teach at Roy Waldron. It's every school that's going to be overcrowded. I don't know if you guys know that 22.2%, according to our census, don't speak English at home as their first language. That's one of our battles, and our schools are doing a great job with it. Our kids are learning so many wonderful things, but we can't help children that don't speak English if we don't have the resources. If our class sizes keep continuing to rise, we're not going to be able to give them the best education that they deserve. Their families came here for the same reason we did, because they obviously thought Laverne was great. In 2006, when Laverne Lake opened, Roy Waldron's population dropped down to about 600 kids. Now as of last year, we had 867. I don't know where we sit right now. I forgot to ask. That's a 40% increase in 10 years. In just 10 years, 40% more kids. And I was embarrassed the other night because I've taught Alderman Brown's son for 2 years, and I didn't remember his name. And I'm sad that because I'm the librarian, I have all of the children, but I don't know every single child by name, and I should, because they're important, and I'm showing them that example. I've got one page from a book I want to share with you from our library that says, it's what does a mayor do? This is what our children get to check out. The last page of the book. Today, mayors across the country are working to fix the problems in their communities. All mayors need to hear from the people they serve. Take some time to learn about your local government. You could even get in touch with your mayor and offer your ideas on how to make your community a better place. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're doing here today. Every one of us are here following the rules of freedom and democracy, letting you know that we care and we believe in you, that you care enough to do what's right for our community, for our citizens. Just so you know, with people talking about tax value, my home depreciated from $226,900 back in 2006. It's worth $185,400 now. That's the tax record from our city. So you guys only got $440 worth of tax from me. Imagine what we could get if we get our home values to raise, the things that you could do. Thank you.
Vote for next is Michael McGowan.
I spoke earlier on paper and said pretty much all that I had to say off of my paper, so I'm just going to speak to you plainly here now. I know that there have been some, what some might call inappropriate remarks made tonight. There have been, a little bit of hoot and hollering tonight that could have been qualmed, but, and I know the gentleman here, he represents someone, he's here representing someone. He's not here because, or he's not here and wanting to be slandered against or anything. All of the remarks made here tonight are out of passion, and that's something that I understand. I don't have statistics, and I don't have history issues with my land. I have future issues with my land if this goes into effect. And what I do understand is the passion that our community has and the commitment that our community has. And you can see that here tonight, surely, based on all that has been said in these past few meetings. I know that we're talking about two different ordinances here, a 2-acre ordinance and a 24-acre ordinance, and we're talking about them as if they're completely separate. But both of these plats are completely adjacent to each other and will make up the same land if voted for, and the same thing will happen with both of these. We need to vote against both of them together and not against one versus the other. And as the gentleman who I believe already left now stated, it doesn't just end there. We need to extend that. We need to stop voting for R3 housing here in Laverne. We need to focus more on our industry and build that so that our community can grow and prosper. So please vote against this. Each of you has the responsibility to vote for or against this, and you should listen to the people of your community that are very vocal and have been very vocal. So please listen to them and vote against this. Thank you.
Next is Robert Warner.
Roger Werner at 1130 Benton Mason. I was just on the hill on what I heard tonight being new here. I heard passion. I heard passion for people. I heard one person talk for it. He's making money. We're all losing money if this goes through. I mean, like I said before, I don't know any of you. I got to meet Jason a couple times, and Thank you for coming to the meeting the other night. Got to talk to you. It's going to cost us money. I've lived in Cincinnati. I lived in Atlanta. I lived in Phoenix. I lived in Denver. Apartments and condos, they're not good for a community, especially community. I don't have traffic issues. I work at home. I see it. It's kind of fun to watch. But as I posted on the Laverne website, you know, going up and down my street, there's trash. I'd like to see an ordinance of 8 inches on grass, not a foot. If you're too lazy to mow your grass at a foot, you shouldn't be owning a house. 8 inches. So I love that ordinance passed. So, and one thing I want to say, we can't speak as one. We got to speak as a group. And a group, we vote. Thank you very much. God bless.
Next will be William Britton. I think it looks like it's William Bitten at 1803 Roy Cove. What's he back at? Oh, he's coming.
County made some mistakes and drew the new lines of redistricting schools back in 2011 and 12 in our city. They divided our city where there are more expensive areas and subdivision across the interstate got zoned to new schools and Stewart's Creek, while lower income areas were divided in such a way to stay. Okay, anyway. All right, so basically, this is what I'm going to say. Reiterating, you guys, again, you're city officials. You are elected. You've got a responsibility. Sir, I don't know if you're an attorney or not, but your suitcase pretty much kind of gives it away from that perspective. However, you know, basically, I don't think one person should have such a great influence, and I'm speaking in reference to the developer. I don't think one person should have that much influence on such a subject as this is concerned. I mean, you can go into Lake Forest Estates, and you can just walk down the street, and you can see the garbage, you can see basically the overrun, you can see how many people are living in one house, you can see basically all of the houses and how the community has grown. If you want to invest in something, if this developer basically wants to develop something that's worthwhile, develop in some restaurants, some things that are going to generate income and revenue basically to the city. Not more houses, not more people. We don't need that. We've got plenty of this. And Laverne is a fabulous, wonderful place. And it's small town. It still has that small town feel to it. But it doesn't need more townhomes and more people, basically. And in reference, basically, to the schools, I don't know if you've walked around the schools, but, I mean, seriously, they are overrun. And, I mean, I learned something new today. I had no idea, basically, that school buses, you had students that are standing up in school buses going from point A to point B. That's crazy. I mean, as a parent, I would be very concerned about that from a safety standpoint as well as basically from a governing standpoint. But not meaning to babble, the main thing is that you guys were elected by the people to do a job. And obviously, this is not the direction that people want to go in. So you should listen to what we have to say and listen to what our concerns are, because you're there for a reason. And having a developer influence your ability to vote yay or nay, if that is the case, that's wrong. Think about what you're doing. Think about basically the impact of your decision that's going to be tonight. Are you going to be okay with that? That's it.
Next will be Debbie Hugan.
Good evening. My name's Debbie Hewen. I'm a real estate agent since 1995. That's the way I make my living. I'm not asking that you guys deny Amnon Tribeman or anybody else the right to develop their land. the way it's zoned. Right now, it's zoned R1 or R2, maybe mixed, but that's acceptable to me because we can use some high-quality houses built back here in Lake Forest to help our home values. Townhomes, I'm telling you, with everything I know about real estate, townhomes in this city have not held their value. I've got sheets here to prove it. I've emailed you the sheets late last night up to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And I wish I could get officers to hand this out to y'all so you can look at the value of the existing homes that we have that are available and affordable, that are single-family homes, and take a look at the townhomes that are existing that have dropped their value down to ridiculously low amounts to where some homeowners of the townhomes can't sell them. They actually rent them out in order not to lose money. Now, also, I'm having to skip around because there's all of this material that I've researched for the past month just so I could get you facts that I'm not able to present to you. And just want to let you know, we have people that gave a lot of money to try to get some information. We weren't charged for the information, but people in our city don't have a lot of money to give, you know, like $100, $110, but they did, and because they wanted the information to get out there. $2,688.75 was written off by the city for the water bills owed by Amnon Schreibman, the developer. That's a lot of money to us, maybe not to him, but that money could have helped us. And it cost us when somebody leaves town or pulls out of a deal or files bankruptcy and leaves us with that amount of debt. Second, I want to jump over to the police and the firemen. We'll start with the firemen. Right now, we have 11 firemen responding to a single-family fire. That's not enough. That's not national average. That's asking for trouble and asking for someone to get hurt. Before, our chief of police had asked for 25 more officers because we're below average on just the population that we have. Adding to that population is not going to help those matters. The impact fees that we get from the building of each unit, whether it's a house or a townhome, is only about $112 for police. That won't even cover 1 day of an officer's salary. $112. I'll say at 2:55 in the morning, you get a call and there's an officer dead and a fireman dead because they're short-staffed. What are you going to tell their family? What are you going to tell the families of people who are hurt because of this and the traffic issues? Please consider all the factors, please.
Next will be Matt Church. Matt Church.
All right, we're going to make this fast. Right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 post-certified police officers in this room to protect you from us. In a normal day in Laverne, we don't have 6 officers patrolling because they're shorthanded. How do I know this? Call ratio. Who's checking in? Who's on the radio? Who's getting on site? Fire department. We're working on getting more towards EMS. You got 1 truck you can't even drive. You don't have firemen. It sits in the bay. When the fire breaks out, the truck doesn't leave because we don't have someone to drive it. How do we know that? We got documentation. Gets better. Ambulance services. We have 1 ambulance covering 38,000 people. We share with Smyrna. So let's talk about ambulance services. ISO rating, you brought that up. RSI rating, one of the best in the state. Our guys work hard. 911 call goes out. Fire department gets there 2 minutes, 16 seconds on average. What's your paperwork showing, right? That's pretty good. I mean, is that what you're saying? That's great. But look how long we wait while they're out there for EMS. Where's EMS coming out of? Smyrna, waiting. Where are we waiting? 911, the call goes out. You're in Lake Forest Estates. This lady's talking about risk analysis. I would love to
spend the evening with her, I do risk analysis. I travel all over the country. I worked Ground Zero. I worked Hurricane Katrina. I'm in Gatlinburg right now. I'm digging in through people's trash with 6-year-old kids because they lost everything. You know why? Infrastructure. Gatlinburg was designed to generate revenue, not to take care of its citizens. That's why they're having trouble with the federal government. So now, working with Gatlinburg, everyone's trying to get to the next level. We're trying to get to the next level here. When a tornado hits Lake Forest Estates, our biggest fire hall is in Lake Forest Estates. You want to know about a risk analysis? I've done 27 downed planes in this country. I've carried over 200 people personally dead. With my own hands, picked them up, relocated them, okay? Wait till one of them planes drop on Lake Forest. You want to talk about infrastructure problems? It's gonna happen. School buses, Stones River Road. It just takes one steer tire to hit that curve and it's all over. What are we gonna do? We're gonna wait for our one ambulance to get there? No, I'm gonna put my money on our firemen. Some I don't even get along with. But you know what? They'll cut me out of a car in a minute because that's what they do. They just don't have the adequate tools to get the rest of the job done. 5 officers in here to protect you from us. Remember that, guys. Thank you.
Next to be Hayden Church. Hayden Church.
Hi. Forgot. That's what it was. Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. No. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. What my dad was talking about, how like the plane could hit Lake Forest and there's only one ambulance there to do it. It's pretty real. Thank y'all.
Next to be Sandy McKinney. Sandy McKinley. Next to be Victoria Whitlow.
No, I signed it for Sandra last time to read her email that she had sent, so.
Are you Sandy?
No, I'm Victoria.
It's just people gets up and speaks. We're not going.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You called Sandra's name, she's not here. I spoke for her last time, and then my name's next on the list, Victoria, right?
You gonna speak for Sandy, or
I'm
you
gonna speak for myself.
yourself? Okay, you are Victoria.
I am Victoria Whitlow.
Okay,
I
go
live at
ahead.
124 Tulip Poplar Drive. And first off, grassroots movement that Debbie Hewen organized, Citizens Against R3 Rezoning. Thank you. Thank you so much for everything you've done. She has really worked hard and tirelessly to get us all together to come up here and speak to something that we so strongly believe in. We've heard a whole lot of nays and one paid-for yay, relating everywhere from schools, police, fire, traffic, infrastructure, real estate, property values, land, wildlife, crime, and safety. All of these nays, that's a lot. All these issues which do affect our quality of life. This R3 zoning is going to bring in townhomes worth $169,000 to $200,000. We heard that, you know, what's been built, people's values are decreasing. They can't sell them for what they're worth. We're being told that they're going to be sold as individual units for $169,000 to $200,000. Is that really what's going to happen, or is there a possibility that a corporation may come in and buy in the whole development and just make them rentals right off the bat? Something to consider, just saying. And speaking of townhomes, I mean, how many townhomes are being built over by the post office? My husband drove me over there the other day when we went to the dump, and just looking down through there, oh my goodness.
wow, that's a lot of townhomes. Oh, wow. There was already a bunch, and you can just see all the land where there's going to be all rolled up even more. One last issue I want to address is traffic. I know we've beat this one to death, but I'm going to hit on it a little bit more. I live back there in Vaughnwood. I'm back there where they, the deforestation of Vaughnwood. I mean, that's terrible what they do. That's just raping the land back there. So we got 68 homes on 24 acres going in back there, 300 townhomes up there at the roundabout. I don't know how many townhomes are being, proposed to be developed at KFC behind there, plus the 307 vacant houses that are in Lake Forest. So, yeah, I'm an accountant, but I need a calculator to do this math, but that's a whole lot more stress on the traffic, on the infrastructure, just back there on that little 2-lane road with 1 lane that goes straight down Waldron Road and 1 lane that turns right going towards Nashville. That traffic's already backed up bad already at 5:30, 6 o'clock. I can only imagine how much worse it's going to get. So please, please, please really think about what you're doing to us citizens who are pillars of the community that have roots put here. We have bought homes. We love our homes. We love Laverne. So think about what you're doing to the community, and please consider voting no on the rezoning. Thank you.
Next will be Tom White.
Mayor Waldron, I urge the board to approve this zoning tonight. It is not a question of me versus other people here at the mic. It's a question of good planning. The city's got a long history of listening to its planner and the planning commission. That was clearly an approved process, considering every single issue that's been mentioned here tonight. I want to ask you to also consider the comments that you heard tonight. There may be a lot of people against R3 and townhomes, but what were the comments about the current status of the police and fire? The comments were, quote, phenomenal response time. They do an excellent job. That's the current status. Excellent job, excellent capacity, fire and police. That's what you heard tonight. With respect to the schools, what did you hear? That was basically another Chamber of Commerce speech. And it's laudatory, and it should be. Basically, the bragging on the school, the highest ACT scores in the state, the rates that you heard, that's the current status of your schools. Things are not coming apart at the seams here. You heard clear comments from the citizens came up here. They may not want townhomes, but they can't say anything other than the schools are doing an exemplary job and the police and fire having phenomenal response time. Now, with response to some of the other comments that was made, one of the people came up and said that despite all the other laudatory things Mr. Schreiben had done for the community, he didn't pay for the road from East Schreiben to David's Way. The record is he gave the land to the city. That was an incredible donation by a developer that was appreciative of this community. With respect to other matters, I don't know of any community in Middle Tennessee that doesn't have a zoning that allows townhomes. There's not one. Number one, it would be a violation of federal law to disallow a zoning category such as that. And number two, there's a really quality need for that type of development. When we're talking about townhomes in the nature of $160,000 to $200,000, that is not federally funded assisted living. That is entry-level and workforce housing. That's housing for entry-level and career people that are police, fire, and teachers. They deserve that type of housing. So again, for somebody to say, and I've heard it several times from the mic, do away with the R3, do away with the R3. There is a place for that type of zoning in every community in this country, and it would be unlawful. Any lawyer would tell you it would be unlawful to disband the use of townhomes. With respect to businesses, rooftops bring businesses. That's the end of the story. There are really quality people that came up here to the mic tonight. I respect them for doing that. Some may have said some things they shouldn't. It's a public hearing. That comes with the turf. But I'm just saying, rooftops bring businesses just like those people live in their houses brought business to this community. I heard several times, no more people, no more housing in Laverne. That's not going to fly, folks. That's not going to fly. It never has. It never will. Laverne should be proud of its history, and it's a recognized one for a real quality of life. Finally, I would say that basically this is a rezoning issue. At the end of the day, the applicant here has got to get all the building permits, pass all the other issues. Some people said there could be sinkholes on the property. There could be any number of other things. This is just rezoning. I urge you to approve it. Thank you for your courtesies.
Next to be Monta Vaden.
I'm so glad I get to go after him. Thank you guys so much for hearing us tonight. There were a lot of information and facts and heartfelt pleas. Yes, our police and our fire department is top-notch, but they're stressed already. Yes, our schools are top-notch. I went to them, and I'm thankful for the education I received that allowed me to go out into the world, get a college education, and come back here because I'm happy and I'm proud to be from Laverne. I drive an hour and a half, 18 miles every morning. An hour and a half, 18 miles, because I would rather live in Laverne and build a life in Laverne than to move outside. These people here are passionate, just like I know you guys are. You wouldn't run and you wouldn't sit here and listen to us and stare at the clock and twiddle your thumbs for hours if you weren't passionate about our city. But we're asking you because we're passionate, and I don't think I've ever seen as many people in this building as there are right now, because we are, look at this. I am so proud to be from Laverne tonight because people have gathered in the library to discuss, and because people have emailed, and because they've called, because they want something good, and we have townhomes, sir. We have empty buildings. We have homes for sale that are under foreclosure. We have places for people, and we welcome more development in the right way to bring quality, to maintain the wonderful things that we have and that we're proud of, and that all these people are passionate for. So we thank you so much for your time, because it's been a long night, and I know because I can see you looking at the clock. We see you. It's fine. We're looking at the clock too. But we're so thankful that you've allowed us this opportunity, and we hope that you know how passionate we are, and we hope that you appreciate us like we appreciate you, and like we hope that you'll do what we all know is best. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Samantha Arlington.
I'm Samantha Hardison from 609 Holland Ridge. I am going to touch briefly again on some other issues that have been brought up again. We already have a lot of townhomes coming in, and we didn't take those numbers into account when we were trying to figure out how many new students we were going to add to the schools. So if you look at it now, you have the R3 zoning that we're talking about today, upwards of 900 people. And then you've got the townhomes that are over by the post office and other places that are already in the works, the ones behind KFC that have been approved. So you're just adding more and more and more. And as this gentleman said, the current status, we've talked about how great everything is right now. Our police, our fire, our schools, you're right. Laverne is fantastic the way it is right now. But if we keep going down the road that we are headed, if we approve this in R3, those numbers are gonna go down. Our response times are gonna go down because you have more people to respond to. Our numbers in the schools are going to go down because we're gonna hire subpar teachers, because teachers, we had a hiring fair just, last month, because we're already hurting for teachers. I don't want my babies to have to walk across a parking lot to pee because they are in a portable. My 6-year-old does not need to walk by herself or hand in hand with another 6-year-old to a locked door, wait to be let in, or a teacher leave a portable, walk with them, leaving all of her students alone in a classroom by themselves in a portable to let someone in to go to the bathroom. Portables are not safe. We do not have the room to add this many students to our school system. I'm gonna touch briefly on traffic real quick. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I don't go anywhere at 6 o'clock in the morning but to take my kids to school. But I used to. And 18 to 20 minutes just to get from David's Way to the light at Waldron Murfreesboro Road. That's a long time. And then you sit for, 4 or 5 minutes to get through that light. Then you get to 24. Anybody drove on 24 to get to Nashville in the morning? You got another hour drive there. You're looking at half your drive time to get from your house to the interstate. And then another hour on top of that to get to work. People are going to leave Laverne because they can't leave 2 hours early just to get to work. And they don't have places in Laverne to work.
Again, I'm Larry Lanker at 112 Tulip Poplar Drive. And I've been through a couple natural disasters in my life. One is a younger child, teenager, and one is an adult, Hurricane Andrew in 1992, in my house. Mr. Church talked. My wife's worked with the medical examiner's office. Folks, you're not prepared. You're not even close to being prepared. Homestead wasn't prepared. The United States Air Force at Homestead was not prepared. You don't know what you're going to do. You got 4 roads into this subdivision. You are not prepared. I want to touch on this school bus thing, and I don't have a dog in the hunt. Thank goodness I don't have any kids. But if we got children sitting 4 to a seat and standing up on buses, it's going to happen right out here on Stones River, I promise you. He talks about just getting a tire hung. I've been driving semis for 20-some years now, blown 1 steer tire my whole life. But guess what? It was a lot of panic. A lot of panic. You do that with a busload of kids, and it goes off that road, turns over that road, over that guardrail. Folks, you're not going to want it. You're not. Got to think about everything. Everything. I thank you.
Thank y'all. We're gonna close the forum, and seeing it's after 7 o'clock, if anybody don't need a break, I'm just gonna start right into the meeting.
Let's take a break.
You want a break? We'll take a 5-minute break, take a recess.
Just a break.
We're gonna take a break, 5-minute break. Thank you.